I guess just starting off right there, what have the last couple of minutes been like back working for Greg and working with Rob Smith again?
It's been fantastic. Coach Schiano he's such a beacon of football in this state. So for me to be able to work with him is really, really exciting. And so then to get back together with Rob Smith, we were together in 22 at Duke. We had some really good experience playing some quality defense and taking the football away from people. So really excited to be back with Coach Smith and to now starting to be able to add Coach Schiano as a mentor is extremely exciting. I mean, he is. I learn things every single day, and extremely grateful to be here.
To kind of go off that, you've worked with some pretty heralded defensive minds aside from Coach Schiano, Bud Foster, Mike Elko, guys like that. What have you learned from them and how you're attacking nowadays?
So just going in chronological order there, working with Coach Foster, he was just a guy's guy, just somebody who the players could relate to at an extremely high level. Obviously a brilliant defensive mind in the 4-2-5 structure that we're all here familiar with, but just a guy who you felt like you wanted to play hard for, who knew everybody's name in the building, who just emanated good feelings and good vibes, and he's somebody who I try to emulate in that way. Coach Elko, just such a bright human being. I mean, just when I met him, just absolutely was taken aback. It was just being able to sit there and just soak in all that he had to offer. He had a lot of strong opinions on things, and to be able to absorb that, and having had my background with Coach Foster, to then be able to come back and work for him is exciting. And now you add, Coach Schiano to the mix, and I'm just excited. It's a whole nother ball game, a whole nother framework of defense to be able to take in, and hopefully I can add my 2 cents also from having my experience with Coach Foster and Coach Elko. But being with Coach Schiano, that's really, I'm just really soaking in the moment and trying to help in any way that I can, but also make sure that I'm living up to the standard that he's set here over the last several years on defense.
Coach, you're a Bergen Catholic guy, graduate there, coach there. Nunzio Campanelli's a figurehead there. Did you ask him about any advice or anything like that before taking the job here, since he was here before?
Yeah, Nunzio and my relationship is extremely fluid. I mean, we are, he coached me. His first year as the head coach at Bergen Catholic was my senior season. So we have an extremely depthy background. And so Nuns and I have kept in touch over the years. So I was very familiar with just about every step of the way as he was working here. And then on the back end of it, everything kind of happened pretty fast. But I kind of knew what I was getting into from my experience and our relationship, talking about this place and talking about what it was like working for Coach.
I believe you and Rob Smith crossed paths on the Duke staff. What have you learned your time with him now together on as co-defensive coordinators here?
Yeah, so Coach Smith, he has an extremely high standard, and he makes it very, very clear of what that looks like. And accountability is the thing that comes to mind when I think about Rob. And so probably that would be the thing that I've taken from him as much as anything is you don't come off of that standard. We talk about we want to be about taking away the football. We talk about that we want to be about execution. We talk about we want to be a violent outfit. Well, we're going to make sure that we go and we attack that every single day. Ball execution violence, we start every single meeting with it. Back at the last place, it was a similar thought process, but it was a different 3 words. Doesn't matter. Whatever those things are that you say that you're going to be about, we're going to hold everybody to that standard. And that's what Rob was about when we were together at Duke, and that's what he's about now. And I just continue to try to soak that in from him as much as I can every day.
You had other options this offseason. Why did you ultimately decide to come here, take this job, and come to this program?
This is home. This is home. I get to be a coordinator in Power 4 football and to have my children grow up, and my wife is from here also. So to have my children grow up an hour away from their grandparents is just, I mean, it's doesn't happen. It's unheard of. So I just, and the pride that I feel about the state of New Jersey. I tell guys all the time when we recruit them, nobody likes us except for us. I mean, we are a special and a different breed here. I really do believe that. I take great pride in the state of New Jersey. So between my family and the love that I have for this state, it was a no-brainer. And then add on the fact that you're working with a legend in Coach Schiano and being able to get back with Rob Smith, who I have so much affection for and respect for his acumen and, like I said, his ability to run a defense and to be able to team up with him in this way. It was a no-brainer for me.
You're not only settling into a new place, but also a new role from linebackers coach now to co-defensive corner. Take us through the past couple months and what that's been like and that jump up in responsibility.
Yeah, I always tried to look at the game from a big picture standpoint. So it is something that I'm obviously continuing to grow into. But I always tried to look at the game as a whole. How do all the pieces fit together? From back to front, from front to back, we all are going to work together. If we're going to be successful, it has to be 11 as one. And again, I'm really in this thing more than anything. It's that mentality piece, like what Coach Smith and I said that we're going to be about, and what Coach Schiano has ultimately set the standard for, the taking the football away, the execution of our job, and ultimately how violent we are. That stuff jumping off the tape, being able to hold a group accountable to that's the stuff that really gets me fired up. That creates the fire in my belly. And being able to flip the tape on and see that's more like being able to get in front of the whole room. It was always exciting in front of the linebackers. I always loved it. But now being in front of the whole room and being able to send that message every day and hold everybody accountable to it, it's extremely exciting for me.
What can you tell us, Coach, about Eric O'Neill, his history, and obviously what he looks like right now?
Eric is a fantastic kid. Grew up, he's from Staten Island. Played a brief stint at Paramus Catholic, and then was at LIU Post. Before then, eventually, I think he was Defensive Player of the Year in that conference. Before then, transferring to play for us at JMU a year ago, and he was fantastic. I mean, he was a guy who just got after it every single day. He's a guy who practices extremely hard. He's a guy who we feel has to be a major cog in us being successful. Now, we've got a lot of other guys on that front that are really good too, so it's open competition up there. Brad Weaver's doing a fantastic job as well, who's here from Ohio. But, obviously Eric and I have a history, but I'm excited about what he has the ability to do here.
It's only been a week of spring camp, but what do you make of the linebacker room right now, and just what have you seen from the guys out there?
I'm really excited about my room. I think we've got a good group of players, but more importantly, or maybe not more importantly, but just as important, I think they're good people. I'm really excited about the two leaders we have coming back in Mo Toure and Jabome. I think they're both fantastic people and also have the opportunity to be excellent football players. Obviously, Mo out right now, given the opportunity for some young guys to step up. Moses Walker, another somewhat veteran presence who's played a lot of football. Really excited about what I've seen from him so far. And then, as I alluded to, those young guys are stepping up and they're making their way. They're good folks. Like, I think they've got, and they're tough. They have the DNA that we're looking for in recruiting. I do believe that they love football, which is ultimately what we're looking for when we bring players into this program. So, between Sam Pyloff, Sam Robinson, DJ McClary, a young guy who's coming in doing a nice job, Montel Johnson, he's doing well when he gets his opportunities. We're just trying to bring everybody along. We're a long way from where we need to be as a whole, as a defense, and certainly as a linebacker room. But the raw material is there, and certainly some guys who have played some ball, but the raw material is there to really excel. I'm very excited about the group.
You came over from James Madison. You had two players come over from James Madison, and Eric O'Neill, Dengoe. How much easier does it make it to relay that message when you have guys that are kind of familiar with you already?
It's don't get me wrong, it's nice to have familiarity. I appreciate what we were able to accomplish at the last place with Daryl and Eric, but it's a new game here, and they have to earn it just as much as everybody else. So while I cherish my relationship with those guys, we've got to really continue to the two of them, along with myself, we have to, just as much as anybody else, prove that we're all in on this thing, because Rutgers has a tremendous tradition of playing good defense. Coach Schiano's tradition is one that's extremely impressive. Now, we got to be able to come in and add value right away. So I would say that it's nice to have familiar faces around. Now we're all in this together, earning that from those guys, me, and everybody else on the defense. We are trying to create oneness in this program moving forward.
Final question.
Just when you were growing up in North Jersey and then at Bergen Catholic as both a player and later a coach, I mean, did you ever think about what it would be like to coach at Rutgers and be in your home state? Was that ever kind of a goal in the back of your mind that you wanted to accomplish one day?
Sure. Like I said, I've got tremendous affection for this state, and Rutgers being in the Big Ten, this is the highest level of college football. So to have the opportunity to coordinate defense here and work for Coach Schiano is something that I've always thought about it in the back of my head, especially, so Coach Schiano and I met for the first time back in 2017 when I was coaching the offensive line and handling the outgoing recruiting process at Bergen Catholic. He was the defensive coordinator at Ohio State at the time, actually took a guy out of our place that year. But fast forward 3 years, 2020, I was actually sitting in his office meeting with him when the NBA shut down for COVID. So we had a great meeting. It was awesome. But, obviously at that point, things shut down. Nobody's hiring anybody. So I stayed put where I was at. And, fast forward, 2 years later, I'm working with Coach Rob Smith. And I knew, obviously, his tremendous history with Coach Schiano. And then now, in 2025, to be able to then reunite one more time over a couple of phone calls and a Zoom, and now be here for a few months. It's like, yeah, everything has come to fruition. You ask my wife; she's always been thinking about it. I mean, she's wanted to come back here since the day we started in this journey together. So, I'm like I said to start with, super grateful to be home, and but we didn't come this far just to come this far. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got a great framework to go and build on, but we are a long way from the finish line. And honestly, we're always going to be becoming. We never arrive. It's consistency of approach, and so. Something bad happens, good, we respond to it. Something good happens, good, we respond to it. It doesn't matter what the results are, it's all about the process, or the chop, right, as Coach Schiano would call it. And so I'm just really grateful to be a part of it and to be home. So we gotta get it going though. Keep it going.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys.